Well, it looks like we're live here. This is Lance Fryrear from the law offices of Lance Fryrear doing our Wednesday Facebook live broadcast. And this broadcast this morning is going to be an important one this afternoon. We just put out a video on our YouTube station. So if you want to try to find our YouTube station with hundreds of videos, just look up Lance Fryrear, Fryrear, and we're going to be adding a link as well at the end of this description. But this particular broadcast is about 5 mistakes to avoid if you are charged with or being investigated for a crime. And hopefully, if you're watching this, you haven't been charged with a crime. But if you have, or if you just find this information, useful, then this is the broadcast to watch. So, what do we do here in Lynnwood? We're a criminal defense firm. We've been open for more than 20 years. We have 5 attorneys, and we've seen it all, I think, in the last 20 years. At least I hope so. So, what are some of the mistakes that people make that we try to help fix and help correct that we see when people are charged with a crime? So I think the biggest one, and this is usually what some people think, is the biggest mistake is thinking that if you're charged with a crime that you can just go to the court and explain what happened. You might have had a traffic ticket in the past. You might have some type of experience where you think, well, I can just go tell the judge that, hey, he pushed me first, or I didn't mean to take it, or I wasn't that drunk, whatever. And that's not how it works. The court will not listen to you. The court will actually stop you from talking. The first court date is an arraignment where you say not guilty. And basically, the court will let you know that anything you say in court can be used against you. So they're going to have you go get your own attorney, or if you don't have a job or can't afford an attorney, you can see if you qualify for the public defender. So most of us, good people in the world, think that, hey, I didn't mean any harm, or I didn't actually do it. And we think that, truth is what rules outcomes. And let me tell you something, that's not the case. As we know, in today's society, what is truth? We got half the population believing one thing, half the population believing another. What controls outcomes isn't the truth. What controls outcomes is how your attorney and how you handle the situation and trying to get the system to listen to your side and hopefully eventually let you go and let you out of things. So don't make the mistake of just thinking you can go to court and explain. A crime is not a traffic ticket. It's not something that you can do. And while I don't blame you for thinking that, please do not try this at home. The second mistake that we can see people make is being too loose with our lips about what happened. Believe it or not, in today's social media age, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, anything out there, people post about their lives, and the police know that, and the prosecutors know that. And it's not uncommon in a criminal case for law enforcement to take a look into the social media of whoever they suspect is guilty of a crime. So do not talk about any type of event that you're being investigated for or charged with anywhere, because anything you say to anybody can be used against you, minus an attorney. Anything you post online, they can use and start to build a case. You may not think it's important, but it is important to not post things online. Sometimes it can help us defend you, though. Like if an alleged victim is putting a bunch of stuff online, mocking the situation, or using drugs or alcohol, that might not make them look good. So we might want the other people in the case to put stuff online about it, but we do not want you to do that. So that's probably the second big mistake that people make. The third mistake that we see is a combination of things. It's probably either ignoring the fact you have a court situation or waiting until the last second to deal with it. I mean, we'll still try to help someone if they call us the last second, but when you it's human nature to want to avoid our problems, right? When we want to sort of, bury our head and we have other things to worry about, and it's a rational way to cope. However, when we wait until the last second to deal with it, we give up opportunities, right? If you have an attorney on board more quickly, there's things we can do to actually change the outcome of the first court hearing and maybe the whole case. Additionally, if you just ignore the summons you might get to go to court, you don't go to court, well, it's not going to go away. There's going to be typically a warrant issued for your arrest, where a police officer is going to come and find you and they're going to put you in jail. And so then your situation is worse. It's more inconvenient. It's more embarrassing. If it's a large bail amount, you may not be able to even get out of the jail. So I think mistake number 3 is either not dealing with the situation, and I understand why, not dealing with it, or not dealing with it quickly enough where you can get a bigger advantage from sort of being the first mover in the case to try to help your case. So I think that's a big mistake. I think mistake number 4, clearly, I think it's an easy one we can all identify, is not hiring an attorney to help you. When you're being prosecuted for a crime, by definition, that includes possible jail time, loss of other rights. It could be firearm rights. You could be thrown out of your house. You may lose your job. You may get thrown out of the country. And luckily, there are professionals out there that, their entire career is to work within the system to defend people charged with crimes. Think about it. The other side, the prosecutor is an attorney, and they have a whole team on their side. They have all the law enforcement. They have all the people in the prosecutor's office, from attorneys to the support staff. They can just call up an officer and get further research done. You have the entire weight of the government against you. So do you feel qualified to do that on your own? Do you think that that's really a good idea? Even as an attorney, I would not represent myself in a crime if I was charged with a crime, and I've been doing this 27 years. So the big mistake is not getting an attorney. And then, not all of us can afford a private attorney. Well, then, the big mistake at that point is not timely applying for a public defender. While a lot of people don't like public defenders have a bad rap for the most part because, of course, they're qualified attorneys who care about what they're doing. That's why they're in that role. Now, they have a harder time sometimes because they have such a big caseload. But a public defender will be assigned your case if you qualify to use their expertise, his or her expertise, to fight back against the expertise of the government and the unfairness of the government. And hopefully they can tell you what to do, just like we can, to improve your chances to get this behind you and not let this ruin your life. And what about for a charged case? What's a common mistake when you're charged with a crime? And it's common because if you're charged with a crime, it feels pretty personal, right? It's the state versus you. It's the city versus you. People are accusing you of wrongdoing, and you never may have been in trouble in your life. And it feels very personal. And so we really want to shout out that we're innocent and look at all these mistakes in the report. So mistake 5 is focusing too much on what's in the police report. You might say, Lance, isn't the report their case? Yeah, it is. It's their case. But remember that there's human beings making decisions in this system. There is no system. There's a bunch of human beings who have roles within a system of prosecution and courts. And the prosecutor, only has so much time, right? And so we don't necessarily want to really heavily dig into the police report precisely in each case, because that's their version of what happened, and it's not going to coincide with what your version is. So yes, there's going to be mistakes in the report. Yes, there's going to be things that we need to point out that are mistakes, but try not to obsess over it, because in my opinion, attorneys and the defense who focus too much on just the facts give up the majority of the power that they have to affect the outcome in your case. So it's not about being right? It's not about vindicating us. It's about getting us out of the system with as little harm and damage as possible. And if you've got a case where we can prove you're innocent, then great. But again, as I said to start in this video, truth is not necessarily what runs outcome. Okay, because everybody's truths are different. So don't make the mistake of being so obsessed over the police report that that's all you care about. What you want to do is try to deal with your mental health, right? Try to find that attorney or non-attorney, the support system where you can make it so you can sleep again at night. You want to follow the instructions of what your attorney tells you to do. You want to stay out of trouble. You want to ask questions, right? Guess what? Us attorneys have been doing it for, 25, 30 years. We can make assumptions that we shouldn't, that you just know how it works, right? And we try to avoid that here in my firm. But if you're not sure about something, don't be afraid to ask a question. There are no stupid questions. That's actually true, right? I ask stupid questions all the time because if I don't ask the stupid question, I won't get the answer that I need. So those are 5 mistakes to avoid if you're charged with a crime. I could probably come up with another 5 or 10 if needed. But the bottom line is, if you get charged with the crime, it's best we don't just start talking about it. Don't talk on social media. Certainly don't talk to the police without consulting an attorney. Don't think you can just go to court and explain what happened. Don't wait till the last second to deal with it. Don't hide from it. There's things that we can do to try to help. Don't do it on your own, right? You've got this whole team of people working against you to put you in jail. And finally, don't obsess too much over what the police wrote. While it might not be true and it might not be fair, it's just going to drive you crazy. Let your team of attorneys figure out what to do and figure out how to fix it. So again, if you want more information about the criminal law, we've got a YouTube station out there. We're going to put a link in here to that. You can just look at my name, Lance Fryrear. It's a curse when I was a prosecutor. I think it works okay as a defense attorney. Maybe the other way around. But bottom line is, if you got a criminal problem, feel free to give us a call. We'll be happy to see if we can help. If we're a great fit, we can try to get to work for you. If not, we can try to refer you to someone else. Give us a call anytime and we'll be there for you. Thank you.